Are you a professional woman who wants to create passive income streams and financial freedom through real estate investing? Join us here on Real Estate Investor Goddesses, hosted by Monick Halm. Listen to women who are rocking it in real estate investments as they share their stories of success, failures, and best advice in real estate investing. Start creating real wealth through real estate. Tune in today. Here's your host, real estate investor, syndicator, and developer, Monick Halm.
Welcome to the Real Estate Investor Goddesses podcast. I am your host, Monick Halm. On this show, we interview amazing, badass real estate investing goddesses, women that are crushing it in the real estate investing space. And I am so excited to bring you today Robynne Alexander, who is not only one of the most badass, amazing investors ever. She also is part of our Real Estate Investor Goddesses family, which I'm so excited about. So she coaches our Inner Circle Goddesses, and she also teaches. She trains in our Wealthy Goddess program, and is bananas amazing. She's been investing in real estate since 1993 when she did her first fix and flip. In 2002, she began working as a real estate agent full-time, and then as a broker. In 2006, after completing her CCIM education, which is for commercial brokering, she moved into the apartment sector full-time. She currently has approximately 150,000 square feet of apartment space, totaling a little more than $31 million in assets under management in multifamily and mixed-use real estate. And she has developed the unique skill set to find, negotiate, renovate, and resell adaptive reuse and value-add properties. She uses to consistently provide strong returns to her investors. She's our amazing mentor and coach, providing profound transformations for our goddesses and others. I'm so excited to have you, Robynne. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Monick. That was quite the intro. Thank you.
And I feel like I'm undersold too. So our goddesses are always like, I want to be Robynne when I grow up. So you're amazing. So welcome.
Thank you so much.
So you got started back in 1993. What made you get started in real estate?
Back then I was in the electrical engineering world, and, that was a 9-to-5 job. And I've always had an interest in real estate. It just seemed like it was a pretty natural thing to buy a piece of property and make it better and then sell it. It was way, way before any of the DIY shows or any of the popular knowledge that everybody has now on that. So it just spoke to me. So I did it. I had my journeyman's degree in architecture. So that probably promoted a little bit of the fascination as well, I think.
Okay, amazing. Yeah, so that was well before the flips and flops and all the HGTV shows. So you were definitely a pioneer in that field. And then you've moved over and you're mostly in multifamily doing adaptive reuse. So tell us a little bit about what that is.
Yeah, so adaptive reuse is when you find a property that was built for one particular function and it's outlived that usefulness. And I take those buildings and I convert them into apartments. Sometimes it has a mixed use component where we have retail on the first floor. If it's in a central business district, that type of a thing. Otherwise, we just put regular apartments in there with no retail. The other thing that we do is the value add component, where we take basically apartments that are in poor condition, and then we give them a lot of TLC. And we have a 15-month program that 15-month system that goes through the entire process of renovating it so that we get the maximum benefit for our tenants and also for us.
Amazing. Okay, so I love this concept of adaptive reuse right now, especially because a lot of multifamily is so expensive. It's very, very, very overpriced, and inventory is limited. So going and finding things that are not multifamily, but all right, so tell us a little bit more about how you find these opportunities, like for adaptive reuse.
Sure.
Yeah.
A lot of times I call it driving for dollars. I'm driving down a main street and I see a building that looks like it needs some TLC, and maybe it's closed, or maybe it used to be a retail center or an office building, something like that. And if it looks like something that would fit with the highest and best use of apartments, then I make note of the address, and then I track down the owner, and then I ask them if they would consider selling. Right now, especially post-pandemic, there are so many phenomenal opportunities, especially in office, retail, and hotels, for converting those into apartments. And it's very lucrative to do once you know how to do it properly. And trust me, I've made all the mistakes. But once you know how to do it properly, it's pretty easy to do. It's very lucrative. And we almost always have a wait list before the projects are finished, because there's such a housing shortage in most of the areas where we invest that people are just clamoring for more space, especially if it's closer to downtown.
That's awesome. I love that. Now, speaking of mistakes, because you mentioned you made a few, and I think mistakes are actually super valuable, because we learn a lot more from when things don't go according to plan or what we thought than when they do. So, what would you say was your biggest mistake, and what did you learn from it?
Oh, golly, how much time do we have?
all the time, but we'll just focus on one for now.
Gosh, there's been a lot of different mistakes that I've made, from selecting the wrong team. And when I say team, I'm talking about the contractor and the architect, especially on the adaptive reuse. Having the right team is really going to expedite the success of the project. Having the wrong team is really going to drag it out, and it's going to give you a lot of learning opportunities when you select the wrong team. For example, I had selected an architect that wanted to be paid by a percentage of the completed job. And I said, wait a second, that's not an alignment of interest. In fact, that is a dichotomy of interests. In fact, that means that the more expensive the build is, the more money the architect gets paid, as opposed to trying to constrain the budget and keeping it in terms of what it needed to be. And so that's a mistake that you can make. Having an architect that won't release the intellectual property, meaning they won't release your drawings if you choose to hire another architect, is another mistake I've made. That one, I had to go to court and get a court order to have them released to me. My first syndication, I did not do the communication with my investors like I should have done. That was a huge mistake for me. I've made so many mistakes, Monique, I can't even tell you, but that's one of the reasons why I'm really smart now.
That's true. Well, over 30, almost 30 years, right, of investing, you'll have those kind of learning opportunities, right, that show up, and you just become smarter and smarter and a better and better investor.
Yeah. So I think the biggest lessons that I learned is really make sure that you have your systems in place for doing these deals, and then making sure you have a good line of communication with the investors that you have. Make sure you have great communication with your team, and definitely make sure that you hire the right team.
Yeah, this is a team sport for sure. And having the wrong team, I think all my biggest mistakes too, probably lie in that area for sure. Okay. So on the flip side, what are you most proud of?
I think I'm the most proud of not giving up when the going gets rough, and really being able to be resourceful and find the solutions when you have challenges, because there's always a challenge in every single project that we've ever done, and being able to find solutions for it that work is pretty good. So I'm proud of being resilient and resourceful. I'm also proud that I was courageous enough to go from playing at this level to pushing myself to playing at this level way up here, because that was really scary. And one of the things that I learned is it's really just a matter of more dollars and more commas, right, in the deal, and making sure that you do the worst case analysis to protect myself is really important. And so the systems that I've created as a result of going through what I've gone through and then breaking through the different levels of plateaus, I'm pretty pleased about that.
So I'd love to hear more. Tell me, what did this level look like for you, and what is this level now? And what did it take to mentally, to find the courage to do that?
I'm kind of glad you asked that question. So playing way down here was more the, single family fix and flips, the little baby commercial apartments, the 4, 5, 6, 7 units, fixing and flipping those. Those were pretty small, comparatively speaking, to where I am now. And I knew I had the ability to do it. I knew I was smart enough to do it. I was just absolutely terrified to do it, because now instead of, working in the $500,000 to $1.5 million, maybe $2 million mark, now I was moving into 10, 15, 20, $40 million. And, I recently put a bid in on a portfolio that was up at auction, and the bid that I put in was $48 million. And it still catches my breath when I think about the numbers, but I also know that I'm pretty well protected because of the due diligence and because of the systems putting in place to do the worst case analytics helps to protect me. And, I coined a phrase a long time ago that there's no right or wrong in real estate investing. There's just degrees of profitability. And so for me, when I'm not being as smart as I should be, then my profitability is going to go down. When I'm being really smart and doing my worst case analytics, then my profitability is going to go up.
I love that. To what do you attribute your success?
I'm going to say tenacity, because I knew I could do it and I wanted to do it. It kind of, a long time ago, I learned that the really super uber wealthy people, most of them made their legacy wealth through real estate investing, because they understood how money worked, they understood real estate, and they understood the Internal Revenue Code, and they knew how to apply it. But once they learned it, they kept it within their own families. They didn't share it. So I made it my personal mission years and years ago to find out what they knew, how they did it, and then share it. And that's one of the reasons why I love coaching and mentoring so much, is because this is very doable. But I started coaching back in 2006, and I realized, for me to be able to coach people through this, I better be able to put my money where my mouth is. I better take my game to the next level. And that's exactly what I did. I went to the next level. I was terrified, but I did it. I made a lot of mistakes. I lost a couple of dollars here and there. But by and large, I made it through, and I'm very pleased for that.
Me too. And I'm so pleased that you are sharing your wisdom, hard-earned wisdom with us at Real Estate Investor Goddesses. What advice do you have for a woman who's just starting out in this field?
Believe in yourself, get the education, and then go out there and apply the education. Because if all you're doing is getting educated and not applying it, that's going to be really expensive entertainment. So get out there, learn how to evaluate deals correctly, learn the vocabulary of this industry, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to say, hey, I don't know this. I don't know how to do this. Be brave to reach out. We've got a great network of amazing women that can help you guys out. So be fearless and get out there and do it. And just make sure you lean into the network of professionals that you have at your reach, I guess.
I love it. And what do you wish you'd known at the beginning that you now know?
Oh, good Lord. Oh, so much. I think I wish if I knew then what I know now, I would have gotten into big commercial deals way back then, because it's actually a lot easier to do the bigger deals. It's terrifying when you first get into it. I get that. But I have to tell you, they really are easier to do than the little small ones. And the reward is so much bigger, not just in terms of the profitability, but just in general, being able to beautify a community, being able to provide well-built, safe apartments that tenants can take pride in at an affordable price. I just got chill bumps. I love doing that. But the fact that I get a good profit as a result of that, I'm good with that.
Yeah, that's something that I wish I'd known earlier too. I don't know if it's easier to go big than it is to go small, but it's definitely not harder. It's just different. But like you said, the rewards are so much more. So for pretty much the same amount of effort, you're getting a lot more bang for your buck, right? It's
I work just as hard on these adaptive reuse as I did on the single family fix and flip, but I get a lot more reward from the adaptive reuse than I did from the single family fix and flip.
Exactly. Yeah. And then in certain ways, you do have things that are open to you. You're more able to access funds. It's just with the financing, doing a 1 to 4 unit, it's based off of your personal credit and your capital and credit. But I'm able to get a $20-30 million loan by myself, but I have a hard time just refinancing my own house because of all the tax benefits of real estate. My taxes don't look like I make that much money. Even though, so I have like money in the bank to buy it all in cash, but it can be hard to qualify for those 1 to 4 units. But so once you learn about commercial, then once I did, I was like, oh my gosh, I wish I'd known about this so much earlier. I wish I'd been into this before. Yeah. All right. So we are going to get into our famed end of show Trinity. But before we do that, what is the best way for people to just find out more about what you do? And I mean, you can go to REI Goddesses and become part of our Wealthy Goddess program, and you get to work with Robynne and train from her or learn from her. But where else can they find you?
They can go to my website, I suppose, infiniteequitiesgroup.com. They could call me. They could email me.
All right.
Yeah. They can find me on Facebook, certainly.
On Facebook, and you can email Robynne, ROBYNNE, at reigoddesses.com. All right. So now it's time for our Trinity, which is a brag, a gratitude, and a desire. What is one thing you're celebrating right now? What's your brag?
Oh, my brag. We just moved into a brand new office and it's beautiful. We have boxes and everything everywhere, but we just moved in, and that means all of my staff are under one roof, and we're really, really coming together at a much higher, much more professional manner. I mean, we used to all just work out of our homes, and that was much easier to do with COVID. But now that we have a lot more projects going on, we have 4 under contract right now. We really need to have them under the same roof at least a couple of days out of the week. So I'm celebrating that. That was huge. I never thought I would go into an office, but we are.
Well bragged. And what is one thing you're grateful for?
Oh my gosh, I'm grateful for my life. I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful for my brain because my brain is, in my opinion, my single best, strongest asset. And I'm so grateful that it's working. And I'm just really grateful for my health.
Beautiful. And last but not least, what is one thing you desire?
Oh, what do I desire? I desire some time off so I could go to Europe for about a month and just relax for a little while.
Well, so shall your desire be, or so much better than you can imagine.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was awesome. You're always amazing. So thank you so much for your time. And thank you for being part of Real Estate Investor Goddesses. You are invaluable and we all love you so much.
Oh, thank you. I love you guys all. All the goddesses on the pods and stuff. I really appreciate them. And I'm having so much fun. Thank you for letting me be a part of the group.
It's our pleasure. So y'all, thanks for watching. If you don't want to miss another one of these, so make sure you subscribe and also go and please rate it. Give us 5 stars and share with your friends, and meet us next time for another Real Estate Investor Goddesses podcast interview. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
You have just listened to another episode of Real Estate Investor Goddesses, a show dedicated to sharing stories of women creating real wealth through real estate. If you found value on what you just heard, feel free to share with your friends. Visit us at reigoddesses.com to learn more about our programs and live events, as well as to access other resources. Until next time.